So guys, are you upper intermediate and above? Is your English level upper intermediate and above? This video is going to be very helpful for you. If you're looking to improve your English and you're wondering which books can I read, how can I move from upper intermediate to native level, or to learn a lot more, or be able to explain everything I want, this video is for you. I'm going to talk about books. These are books I have read and I really enjoyed them. I divided them into categories. Our first category is self-growth. We have marketing. So if your job is a marketer, or you're dealing with marketing and sales, I'm going to recommend a book for you. I have another category, what is it about? A category for entrepreneurs. So if you're an entrepreneur, or girişimci in Turkish, I'm going to recommend 1 or 2 books for you to read. The other category is for leadership. So if you're a manager at a company, or you want to develop some leadership skills, I have some good books for you that you will enjoy. And then the other one is communication. I think all people, it doesn't matter whether you're a mom at home, you're a dad at home, you have a job or not, you're a teacher, you're a manager, you're an employee, as long as you're human, we all need to develop our communication skills. And in this category, I have a few books that I wrote. I made this list a very long time ago, I think last year. So there are some new books that I've read this year that I will add to this list while I speak. So we are going to begin with, which one should we begin with? I think we are going to begin with self-growth. Let's begin with self-growth because this is essential for everybody. Some people think after graduation, you don't need to read anymore, or you've learned everything you would want to learn after you've graduated from school. Unfortunately, this isn't true. Or I think after graduation, this is when the real learning begins. Because in school, we've learned everything they wanted us to learn. Now it's time for us to learn things that we think are really necessary in our lives according to what we have to deal with in our daily life. For example, if at my work I have to, maybe I'm a team manager, then it means I need leadership skills more than I need to maybe learn about calculus. But in school, I was forced to do calculus. Right now, you can choose the things according to your environment. And I'm going round and round. Let's begin with self-growth. Self-growth books, one book I will begin with. I'm going to give you the name of the book and then 1, 2, 3 things I learned from the book. Number 1 is 12 Rules for Life. This is by Jordan Peterson. The book talks about the 12 rules basically we should know about life, and there is a list here. It says stand up straight with your shoulders back. So many times we stand like this, and this may seem like something basic, but when we stand like this, everything in your life or the people you're speaking to, it starts to go down, and next thing you're down. But if you stand up like this, right now you're watching, just try to put your shoulders back and see what happens. Trust me, you will feel a lot better. So if every time you're going for, let's say, a meeting, you're gonna do anything that you don't feel very confident, just check your body posture. It will help you a lot more. The other thing is make friends with people who want the best for you. Yeah, this is essential. One last thing I learned from the book is treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. These are the first 3 rules. But I've learned a lot of, I learned a lot of things from this book, like not to compare yourself. Of course, we hear this all the time, but the book gets into details. I'll talk about that. Treat yourself like someone you're responsible for helping. For example, I think in the book they give an example of a kid. If you're a mom, you won't feed unhealthy food to your baby or to your kid. You're gonna give them healthy food. You're gonna make sure they shower, they wear clean clothes, they sleep on time. So when we grow up, we forget to do this for ourselves, and we just eat whatever we feel like. And after some time, we start feeling really horribly. Why? Because we don't take care of ourselves. So you should take care of yourself the way you could take care of somebody that you're responsible for, because you only have you. I'm not gonna get into details with that book. The other one is Ego is the Enemy. This is by Ryan Holiday. I read this because there is a time I was having problems with my ego, I could say. I thought, as my social media is growing, I don't want my ego to disrupt this, because unfortunately, many times we judge our value according to how many likes we have, according to how many people say you're great, or how many people say you're horrible. So we give a lot of power to the comments and likes and views that we get on social media. And as I'm growing my social media and working on my social media, sometimes I find myself caught up in these negative and positive comments. I haven't got negative comments. I feel like I should prepare, because as my social media grows, so will my comments, and negative comments will come sooner or later. So I just have to have my ego in check, just in case somebody comes up and they think they have an opinion about me or anything that might make me feel down. Or people might start saying, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're great, you're this. I don't want that to get into my head and think, oh yeah, I'm great and stuff like that. I want to stay anchored on the ground. So this is why I chose to read this Ego is the Enemy, because if you act with your ego, it's just going to backfire on you, and you're going to have problems with maybe different people that you care about, most especially. So I had to read the book. You can read about it if you really feel you want to understand more about humans, our ego, and everything. The other one is the 10,000 Hour Rule by Malcolm Gladwell. 10,000 Hour Rule, I read this a long time ago. I don't remember when. The list is long. I didn't read all of these in 2019. The list is long. 10,000 Hour Rule. I didn't know about this. I just thought I should be good at whatever I choose to do. And sometimes I got into doing something and I was disappointed. I'm not good. And I used to beat myself over stupid things. But the 10,000 Hour Rule taught me reading the book, it taught me all those people that are good at something, they've really put in time. You don't think you're just going to wake up and begin doing something and be good at it. I started kickboxing a few months ago, before the whole quarantine thing happened. And I remember my first kickboxing class, the trainer took a video of me and he said, yeah, this is not good. I said, no, don't delete it. I know this is the first video, and after I've been doing kickboxing for 6 months, for a year, I want to look back at this first video and say, that was me in the beginning. Wow, look, I wasn't doing this right. This was a mistake. So in the past, I used to want to only put out perfect content. Right now, it doesn't matter. I know I'm going to grow with time. So the 10,000 hour rule just taught me to be patient with myself. You might be wondering, how is this going to teach me English? You're going to be reading it in English, so your English will improve. And in the meantime, you're going to grow yourself, you're going to grow your character, you're going to start having ideas come out of the blue when you're in certain situations, because many times we expect. I think I'll talk about that when I'm talking about communication. Well, we're moving on to communication. Self-growth, 3 books. Communication. For communication, currently I'm reading a book. It's about couple skills. It's called Couple Skills. What does it talk about? It talks about conflicts. How do you handle conflicts? What causes conflicts? Why do people get into an argument? You say something very small and the other person snaps at you. Why is that? So it talks about how those conflicts are formed, how you can handle them, and etc. I don't remember the author of that one. I think there are around 3 guys. I don't remember, but I'll put a picture somewhere around the video. The other book is How to Win Friends and Influence People. The first time I saw this book in DNR, I thought, yeah, I think I have enough friends. I don't need to win other people. But it was about, the book is about, it has things about leadership, influence, etc. And one thing I can quickly tell you I've learned from it is, if you want somebody to do something for you, you gotta first understand them or listen to them. So it's more about listening to the other person. The other book, I won't say much about that because it's a great book. You should check it out if you haven't checked it out. The other book, an amazing book, it's Crucial Conversations. Have you ever thought of, I need a salary raise from my boss. How can I ask for this salary? How can I ask for the raise? How can I tell this person that's doing something that I don't like? For example, as women, sometimes there are people in our lives that are doing things, I don't know, maybe meant to have this problem, but sometimes, for example, at work, you're at work, working, and then your boss or a guy comes around and maybe he puts his arm around you. In the past, I used to, for example, I get uncomfortable. I don't want somebody to touch my hand. I don't want anybody to touch anywhere, not even my hair. So sometimes you're at work and somebody comes and they put their hand around you or they just touch. I don't like that. And sometimes you don't know how to say, don't do that, because of so many different reasons. So when I read Crucial Conversations, it just taught me how to communicate. Tell people when they do something that you don't like. For example, the example I gave about a job raise, or for example, you have a friend in your life who is very close and they do something that makes you uncomfortable, but you cannot openly tell them, hey, what you did is not okay for me. You feel like if I say this, they're going to get angry, they're going to feel bad, we might break up, something like that. I might lose my job if I do this. How can I ask for the raise? I'm sure my boss knows I'm hardworking, so he will just do it. No, they won't. So I recommend you read Crucial Conversations. If you really, crucial, what's the meaning of crucial? Important. So important conversations to gain that confidence and learn how to talk about these confidence and these issues comfortably. The other one, we are moving on to the next section, leadership. I think we all need to have leadership skills, whether you have a team or you're simply a mother leading a family or a father. And the first book I'm going to recommend, my favorite, this I recommend to all my students that are managers in companies and stuff like that, is Multipliers by Liz Wiseman. This book of Multipliers, what does it talk about? First of all, what's the meaning of multiply? Chart mark. So it talks about there are so many leaders. When you look at their team, they're training people in a way that they want them to, for example, I'm your leader, I'm your manager. I'm going to train you to be good, but not better than me. You cannot do anything better than I can. Why? Because maybe I'm afraid if you're better than me, I might lose my position. You might take my position. Or I must make all the decisions. I must, like, that kind of selfishness. There are some leaders that do that without knowing. And then there is another group that says, I know everything, I'm extremely brilliant, I can do everything. So they keep on protecting, all overprotecting the people that they lead. I'm a teacher, and what I learned from the book is that this is the mistake I was making while teaching. When I see a student struggling, I quickly want to jump in and help them, save the day. Like, show them, no, this is how you do it. You don't know the answer? Yeah, this is the answer. But right now, I sit, relax, let them figure it out. Because like a baby, if they're trying to walk and they're falling and you carry them and take them to where they want to go, they cannot learn anything. They cannot do anything because every time they struggle, you carry them, take them somewhere, help them out, save the day. So sometimes leaders too, managers in companies, they do this. How? An employee is struggling on the project. They're like, did you find out what to do with the project? The employee says, I'm still thinking about it. They're like, no, don't worry, you should do this and this and this. This is not good. As a manager, it means you're not giving the opportunity to your employee to grow, learn something, and be able to fight for themselves, find solutions on their own. So I strongly recommend Multipliers by Liz Wiseman. I hope I'm not mispronouncing her name. And the other book is by Simon Sinek, Start With Why. This is an amazing book. I think entrepreneurs too can benefit from this book. Why? Because many times we see things and we're like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Okay. Why? It might look very glamorous. It might look like, if I can do this, it will be great. But why exactly do you want to do it? After you've written down all the reasons and you know why you want to do something, then when you begin, it's difficult to give up. This is one of the questions I ask whoever tells me, I want to take private classes from you. I ask you why. Because I don't want you to get bored and then think, I think I can take classes from her. And then I'm going to try to work hard to get you a goal that you even don't have. So in the first place, I need to know, why do you want to take the classes? I'm taking the classes because I want to do this with the knowledge. And then I'm like, then we can work together. But if you have no reason and you're just bored, I don't want to work with people like that because it becomes stressful. They don't have a goal, so they just go round and round and they have no goal and they're driving themselves crazy and me in the process. I protect my mental space with all the energy I can. So that's one of the filters. Start with why. You should read it. You should listen to some of the Simon Sinek talks on YouTube too. He's amazing. He's amazing. He's great on leadership. And the other book is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is by Stephen R. Covey. One thing I learned from this book is sharpen the saw. By sharpen the saw, it means a lot of things. There are times when I simply focus on work. But they talk about things like, I read this a long time ago, but I'll just tell you the message that I have in my head. All a simple story. There was a guy that was trying to cut trees. And in the first hour, he was cutting so many trees at a time. And then, with time, these trees decreased. Why? Because the saw that he was using, it was no longer blunt. It was no longer sharp. It was blunt, it was no longer sharp, so he couldn't use it efficiently. So how do I sharpen myself? I do a lot of reading because, like I told you, I don't read these books to improve my English. I read these books to have the knowledge, to improve myself as a person. So I have to take care of myself. Like in the book I told you before, what was it, 12 Rules of Life. Just take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself is a form of sharpening the saw. Getting new knowledge is a form of sharpening the saw. But if you think, simple present, I know how to explain simple present, I'll just explain it. No, you will not. Yeah, you might succeed in saying simple present has these rules and ABC, but sometimes it needs more than just knowing what happens in a certain topic. Or you should read the book. I read this a long time ago, and what I've learned about reading books is you read, gain the knowledge, and in my experience, you don't straight away use the knowledge. You're going to read, gain the knowledge, and then maybe time will pass. But then you'll find yourself in a situation and an idea will come to you and you're like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then after some time, I realize, I learned this from this book. So I really strongly recommend you read. I think the video is getting too long. Let's move on to entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, most especially if you're working on social media, there is a book called 1,000 True Fans. Or is it a podcast? I'm not so sure how I consumed it. A podcast, 1,000 True Fans. It talks about, because everyone is crazy about, I need 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I need 1 million followers. Okay, no problem. But are they real, true fans? So if you're in entrepreneurship, you don't need to have 1 trillion customers or fans if you're in social media. You just need to have a few that really understand what you're doing, rather than having 1 billion or trying to satisfy 1 billion people. That's not easy. Let's move on. The other one is Linchpin. Linchpin, this is good for people that are working in companies. Linchpin is good. What's the meaning of a linchpin? I don't know how to explain this, but imagine 2 machines that you have to join. I'm gonna use this. Where is that? Yeah, this is an example of a linchpin. This tiny bit, but for this, some machines only have one. For example, this has 2. If I remove the second one, then this is going to fall out. Some machines only have 1 pin. And if you take out the pin, the whole machine is ruined. Or it falls into pieces. It breaks into pieces. So the books basically says, if you're working in a company, make yourself have so many skills to a level that you are like that linchpin in that company. They can't just say, yeah, we're having problems, we need to fire some people. Let's fire Maureen. No. If you're the linchpin, they cannot fire you because you're the glue that's holding together all those pieces. But if you don't develop yourself, this is why I'm obsessed with self-development, because I want to be at a level that I can deliver more value than the money I'm paid for. If somebody pays me, let's say, money to get classes, I want to give you value that is more than the money you're paying. Because if I give you less, If you have any problems, you're going to say, I'm cutting off the English classes. I don't want to be in that position. I don't want you to be in that position. So how do we get out of the position of, we need to cut back. Let's cut off this person. You need to develop yourself. Develop yourself. How do you develop yourself? Like, for example, if you don't speak English very well, learn very good English. And what's the meaning of very good English? Like, learn how to communicate. Like I told you about communication, the book about communication. All of these, it's not about English, but it teaches you how do you communicate, because you might be working with an international company and you have an argument and you don't know how to calm the passenger down, or for example, you're a flight attendant, you don't know how to calm the other person down. Actually, many times when I'm doing job interview, speaking practice with my students, some of the advice I give to them is from the books I've read. For example, how do you handle job interviews? How do you handle, for example, sometimes I get too excited. Sorry, let me explain this slower. During a job interview, they may ask you, how do you handle a difficult passenger? Me, as a person who read a book on maybe how to win friends and influence people, couple skills and crucial conversations, what I can quickly summarize is you have to listen to the person. Like I said before, if you want to influence people, you got to listen to them. Then you will know what they need and then influence them that way. So if you're handling a difficult customer, you're going to listen. Listen, and then show them that you understand and you empathize with them. This is something that I've seen in that book. I've seen it in couple skills. Listen to them. After you listen, empathize. Really empathize. Don't just say, yeah, I understand, but actually, I no longer want to use the word but. Why? Not because it's a very basic vocabulary, but because I just used it. But because it negates what you're trying to say. If you say, yeah, I understand, but, then it means you don't understand. Put a full stop and continue. How have I learned that? Through some of the books that I've read. I'm also reading some other books now that I can't tell you about because the video is extremely too long. And I gotta end it before it's an hour long. Anyways, guys, marketing. I forgot to tell you about marketing. Marketing, the best book I can recommend. Sales and marketing, the best book. Marketing, best book I can recommend is called The Blue Ocean Strategy. I will quickly explain this. What's the Blue Ocean Strategy? Think of, there are two oceans when you're marketing something. There is a blue ocean and a red ocean. What's in the red ocean? In the red ocean, there are so many sharks. They are fighting each other. They are killing each other. Everything is like, it's dangerous. It's fights, it's arguments and everything. But in the blue ocean, it's clear. There are no fights and everything. Like people don't kill each other or attack each other. So if you're marketing something, for example, you have a product, let's say you produce pens, you gotta think, how can we market our goods instead of trying to copy your competition, fight with your competition, try to fight for customers with your competition, create a product or put yourself in a situation whereby the people that consume your product, they don't want to consume the other because it's not an option. I'll give you an example. Of course, I didn't invent online classes, but if you look at language learning, what's language learning? Everybody wants to learn the language, let's say. But can everybody go to school to learn a language? No. There are people like, for example, let me say mothers. She just gave birth. She wants to stay at home, take care of her baby. So the best thing is online. They cannot leave the baby and go to get into traffic for 1 hour and then get out of traffic, get into class for, let's say, 1-2 hours, and then get back in traffic, leave the baby alone. They don't want to do that. So the best option is online and what? when the baby cries, they can quickly run and check on the baby, is she okay? If it needs feeding, they can close the camera and feed the baby, etc. So I had to, when I read this, I had to understand, I'm not going to try to teach everyone English. No, there are my specific group of people that will prefer this, and this will be a perfect opportunity for them. So learning all of these things, what does it help me? It helps me grow and not start fighting over everyone trying to win over every student. No, it's the same thing if you're doing marketing for your company. Try to learn what exactly is the avatar of the customers that I'm trying to serve. Because if we have 2 pens and I need to write a phone number, I can use this, it doesn't matter. We don't want to be in a position whereby I can use this, it doesn't matter. No, we need to only have one option and eliminate the competition. That's how you get from the red ocean to the blue ocean, whereby it's peaceful and you deliver the results that are expected. Anyways, I think that's all. Lastly, Sapiens. That's one of my favorite books, Sapiens. It helped me understand a little bit more about the world and some other things. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found a book that you want to begin with. Thank you for listening. Take care. Have a great time. In the comment section, tell me, what books have you read? Which books did you like? Why do you read the books that you like? Some people read books for entertainment. I read books for knowledge because I'm thirsty for knowledge. I want, by the time I get to 40, 50 years old, to have a smoother life and not be bothered by small things. The book I'm going to read next is about the female brain. Tell me if you've read The Female Brain. Tell me if you would want me to tell you about the female brain while reading. Should I make notes? Should I tell you about it? Tell me. Goodbye. Take care.